I call this regular city commission meeting to order at 7 p.m. on Thursday, May 19th. Commissioner Love is going to lead us in prayer, and immediately afterward we'll be saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise.
Lord, as we gather here tonight for this commission meeting, we take time to thank you for all our own personal blessings. We also take time for all the blessings you have given us in the city. You are truly good, and you hear the prayers of those who call upon you. We ask, therefore, that you continue to bless us, our families, our friends, and our community. All praise and honor be to you. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Skatarczyk.
Here.
Commissioner Avery.
Here.
Commissioner Hendrick. Here. Commissioner Lovett.
Here.
Commissioner Melly.
Here.
Commissioner Simpson.
Here.
Commissioner Turner.
Here.
City Manager Levin. Here.
In communications, we have our list of pending items. Does anybody want to read this? It hasn't changed.
You make a motion to accept communications and place on file.
Support? Motion and support. Any discussion?
I just had one quick one that I haven't seen on there. At some point, Maritime Days was supposed to get back to us with a site plan, and I'm sure they're still working on that and everything, but we, sort of improved the spirit of what they were doing, but we haven't seen that come back across to us yet, so for their final, and I'm sure they're still working on it, but
So we need to add that to the list. Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are now moving on to the public comment portion of the meeting. You're invited to come to the podium, state your name and address, and please keep your comments under 5 minutes. And just a reminder that we also have a public hearing today, so if you wanted to talk about the budget, I'd appreciate it if you just held that to the public hearing. I'd like to come up first. I see a hand, but come on up. I see a hand, but I didn't see a face.
My name is Laura Scotcha, and I'm with the Mariner Theater, as well as a board member of the Marine City Chamber of Commerce and the committee head for the Beach Fundraiser Committee. On behalf of these groups, I'd like to give you an update on the Beach Fundraiser Initiative. To date, we have real and committed funds in excess of $30,000, and that is including the $10,000 match from Patronicity. The $10,000, the matching funds, will remain in Patronicity along with the match until June 20th. And if anybody doesn't know what that is a Crown granting initiative that through our finding it and then the city's help, we were able to get approval for matching funds. Tomorrow morning, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 8:30, www.patronicity.com/Marine City Beach will go live. So anybody can go to that site and they can donate directly onto that site. And there'll be a video that was done by the MEDC that will be shown in a little bit. What we hope is that we'll push that out, and we'd like everybody to continue to share with friends, family, and whoever else you think would be interested in donating to this wonderful cause. The fundraising effort is not over, so please continue to spread the word. Any funds not used this year will carry over to the Beach Fund for 2017, which is clearly stated on beachfundraiser.com, our website. I'd also like to remind everybody to come out to the Beach Fundraiser this Saturday, May 21st, from 10 to 3 at Nautical Mile Park, which is also, Rotary Club Park, where we'll have fun for the entire family. This community's been absolutely incredible with their support, not only monetarily, but by volunteering their time. And you have to see the raffle baskets and gifts that have been donated by people and businesses in this community. The Chamber's office is jam-packed, so those will be at the fundraiser. This initiative would not be possible without the involvement, of course, of our volunteers, our committee members, who we have a lot of them scattered in here tonight, Marine City Business, the city itself, business leaders, friends, and residents. So thank you, and we hope to see you on Saturday. And we're going to share this. And I also want to tell you, with the matching funds, two meetings ago when we presented, or when we left the bucket here, we raised $120 from the meeting, so that ended up being $240, just so you know. Okay? Thank you.
How many communities in Michigan have a beach at the end of their downtown Main Street and business district? Marine City's, of course, one of those fortunate communities. Over the recent years, due to the low tax income and tax base, other economic factors, the money hasn't been available to keep the beach open and maintained. With Marine City in the midst of a major revival, the citizens have called the beach a top community priority. The City of Marine City is teaming up with the Mariner Theater, Marine City Area Chamber of Commerce, and local business organizations, community leaders, and citizens to raise the needed funds in order to make the necessary improvements to this beautiful landmark. This is truly a community effort. Our goal is to raise a minimum of $10,000. Funds will be used for the following improvements and more. Restroom renovations, additional beach sand, privacy fence, signage, buoys, security, playground equipment, supplies, and a handicapped ramp that will run through the sand down to the water's edge for those who are unable to negotiate the sand. All dollars raised will go into an earmarked account in the Marine City Parks and Recreation Department to be used only for the beach, with any surplus money rolling over to the next year's beach fund. The impact? Well, we're such a wonderful asset, now it's time to improve the beach in Marine City for all to enjoy, helping create a true community space that is inviting, brings families and the community together, and creates better business opportunities for all. When you give to this project, the fine folks at MEDC and MSHDA will double our dollars, but only if we hit our goal of $10,000 before our deadline. So give now, and thanks for the support. It's going to be a great summer.
Very nice, thank you. Do we have anyone else wants to come to the podium at this time for public comments? We do.
Kathy Burton, 160 and 358 South Water Street, the theaters. I'm pretty busy right now with a show opening tomorrow and another one in rehearsal, so I don't have a lot of time to stir up drama on Facebook like a teenager. But apparently Commissioner Ray Melly does. This is a little gem that he posted last Sunday. After Michael Hilferink complains about City Hall not receiving enough funding, Mr. Melly replies on a Facebook forum, "You're absolutely right, Mike, about City Hall. The money in effect went to Tom V for a hotel." Really? Money was appropriated to City Hall and then redirected to us, because I'd like to see some proof of that. We never received any money. That is an outright lie. You and your little buddy keep insinuating that we are stealing from the citizens, but all I've seen is us spending money over the last 4 years in this town and working our butts off to produce great theater so that we can bring visitors in and pay our taxes to this city. So explain to me how we're costing the citizens. if this is a roundabout way of complaining that the city used their consultant, SCS, to seek funding for an environmental cleanup on the Terhune property, how is that wrong? We didn't pollute the property. And the city using a consultant to find state and federal dollars to clean it up at no expense to the taxpayers of this town is a good thing. So why are you complaining about that? And have you seen this document? This is the consulting agreement between the city and SCS. They were not solely contracted to find funds for City Hall. And if you don't know that, then you're not only a deceiver, but an uninformed one. I would say the city using its resources to secure a grant to clean up a site and attract a $4 million investment is a good thing. And folks sitting up here who were in favor of that and supported it are good stewards of the community. They should not be vilified, and neither should we. Do you really, truly think this town would be better if we hadn't opened the theaters? If we hadn't opted to look into building a hotel here? I mean, what do you want? Do you want the city to say to people, you're welcome to come and spend your money here, but no, don't look to us to give you any guidance or advice or give you any type of assistance at all? Is that how you want the mayor and the city manager to treat business investors that come to this community? Because if they do, people won't invest here. You and your cohort are setting up an us versus them, residents versus businesses. To what end? People in America are sick and tired of the political tactic of convincing one party that another party is trying to cheat them so that the politicians can come in and claim to be on their side. Vote for me and I'll take care of you. Black versus whites, the war on women, haves versus the have-nots. Their side of what? We're all in this together. A rising tide lifts all ships. It's a sleazy political tactic, Mr. Melly, and I sincerely hope that the voters turn out in droves this November to relieve people like you of their position. We do not need commissioners who sit behind their laptops and cowardly stir the pot. We need leaders, leaders who are willing to work together, keep the positive momentum, and keep the tide rising. Thank you.
Rosalie Squires, 211 Michigan. I don't happen to go on Facebook except for the Humane Society, and I don't know what was said, but I think that what's being painted here is not the true picture. We gave out a tax abatement last meeting that was the highest tax abatement for the longest time we've ever given in the history of Marine City. The last longest one was 5 years. There's a lot of businesses that have put money in this town without any of the citizens or taxes being used for it. We've also had lots of businesses come in town that are successful right now. That, you know, I don't think that everybody should be patted on the back because they come and put a business in this town. Quite frankly, for myself, I've never been at the theater, so it hasn't changed my life any. And it's how much business is it really attracting? It only has plays a couple days out of the month. So, all right, that said, don't tell me we aren't giving money to you, ma'am. It's great that you're putting $4 million in my town, I suppose. But you're getting a $50,000 tax abatement for 15 years. That's called cronyism. That's called capital welfare. That's not a word I made up. That is a word that it comes from textbooks. So don't keep putting a nice spin on this that we're not giving welfare to somebody putting money in this town. There's a lot of citizens that have money in this town, from Kmart Plaza to Dr. Gilbert to my dentist's office to Food Depot and Mr. Sapienza and a lot of other people that haven't gotten anything from this town. And they've been here for decades, not just a few years. Thank you.
Us.
Bill Haas, 203 Pleasant Street. Well, after getting some good reading from my top-notch reporter over there, got Bob Ahi in here, Georgia Palin, all the people I complained about. Not everybody, I told you a year ago when I first started coming, you people are looking to make a Royal Oak out of this zoo. That's pretty much what we've done. Not everybody could care less whether there's a $4 million building there. Property values were overinflated back in the day for probably about 5 or 6 years, and we all went gung-ho on paying everybody money. All right, now for a little math facts here. Kathy Burton said last week Riverbank brought in $2,200 for Willy Wonka. Just an example. Now, if you were to pay a cop for a shift $200, because that's all we're going to pay you because we can, that's how it works. 3 days is $600. $600 for a weekend times 4 weeks in a month, $2,400. Now, if you were to put a $2 surcharge tax, on a theater ticket, the outsiders are paying for it anyway. That's $4,400. So you already got a cop covering 3 shifts, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You want to get cadets on bikes, or even cheaper. I imagine we could get two for the price of one. You start throwing Fish Company, no parking, Sweet Tooth, no parking, all these no parkings. You gave my waterfront away for free. You people don't think I'm upset? You give my waterfront away for free, a nice quiet little community. They're doing good things, some are doing good things. They came, they hit the beach because that's what the people are whining for. Let's buy the people. Cruise ships are coming pretty damn soon. Not unless that got put by the wayside. Like I tell you, sooner or later, someone, it's just a matter of time. Slinger said, yeah, Slinger feeds 200 people. You gave him 5 years on, what do you say, a $300,000 machine, $600,000 machine, or whatever he had. He feeds 20 people. I doubt anybody's making a real living off the theater shows. Now unless they go somewhere good or you bring something good in here. But everybody needs to pay up. Even Slinger said it. Half and half. You created it, and you expected the citizens to flip the bill for police. Yeah, I know, Mr. Turner. It's dragged sitting up there, ain't it? I see one of your other recall buddies are around today. That's all I got. I'm just saying, this is, actually, I was at the Tiffin meeting the other day. I'm only working 8 hours right now, so it gives me, I could actually make it and see who the hell was there. We got Tisdale, 30% rental properties, cement problems. Sidewalk people, are you sleeping there, Mr. Avery? You're on the sidewalk committee. Don't you think rental people who are renting deserve a nice sidewalk if they got kids? And not crud? These people are making money at the city. Rental is a business property. I know. No, nobody gives a rat's ass up there, do you? All right. Enjoy yourself. You see my truck back in town, hell with you.
Mr. Squires?
Ray Squires, 211 Michigan. I think the Rich River boys are at it again. Tax abatements. Not 3 years, not 5 years, 15 years. 15 years. Oh, 12, excuse me. 12 years. Okay? Thomas Edison Inn didn't make it. St. Clair Inn didn't make it. Well, maybe this will make it, maybe not. But I don't believe in handouts. I don't believe in corporate welfare. If you have money to invest, you want to be an entrepreneur, go for it. It's a free country. But a lot of people are tired of, rich people slopping at the public trough too. A few months ago, you increased our taxes without our approval, taxation without representation. Then when the voters did get a chance to speak, we turned it down. We said, no, we don't want our taxes raised. But now you're giving tax abatements. You wanted to put tax burdens on the citizens of Marine City, but not on outsiders who come in with all kinds of nice business ideas. I think it's time to move in a new direction in this town. For example, we've been in a temporary city hall for over 10 years. And supposedly the downtown is booming. That's nice, but how does that affect me? If it's booming, you would think our general funds would be, busting at the seams. That we would have adequate police protection, that we would have all these roads taken care of. I don't see that happening. I keep hearing about, we got to bring people in. Well, how does that affect me as a taxpayer in Marine City? Are my taxes going down? I'm glad people are prospering, but don't put the onus on me. Our roads are terrible. Driving down Market Street is like asking for a front-end wheel alignment. It's time that we move in a new direction. It's time to focus on the citizens that live here. We've had enough with downtown. Let's focus on our roads and our neighborhoods and focus on the people that are here every day. Thank you very much.
Do we have anyone else?
Do I have to give my address?
Yes.
I'm Grace Halpin, 5448 Bell River Boulevard. I gotta say, the theaters, the hotel, the Sweet Tooth, the Fish Company, everything that is coming to town, those are places I can go into and enjoy by myself. I do use the Mariner Theater. I go to the Snug. I go to the Riverbank. And I feel sorry for you two in the back who have never been there. You three in the back. Oh, all right. We have a great community here. Without those things in town to go to, we would have nothing. This would be a ghost town. You can't live on antique shops. And I totally support all the theaters, the Mariner, and the hotel. I hope I get a night there once. I'd have to find somebody first, but oops, don't put that in. That's just a joke. But really, people have got to stop being negative about other people trying to do good things and prospering. This is for all of us, the whole community. It's like amazing when somebody can stand up here and complain about good things, when maybe they should do some volunteering or go someplace and be a pink lady or something. I don't know. But we have good ideas brought to this town, and then we need to work with the people that are doing it, because we're going to have nothing if we don't. Thank you. And by the way, people that come to town and stay at the hotel, first thing they'll do when they do their luggage, they're going to take their wallet, they're going to go downtown and spend money at all the places that are in there to make a living. Stands to reason.
Thank you.
Thanks.
My name is Louise Butel. I live at 535 North Main. Somehow, we always seem to get into discussions that are either or. From my perspective, it's a wonderful thing that's happened on Water Street. That doesn't mean that we have to stop thinking about the neighborhoods. Obviously, we need better roads, we need better sidewalks, and we need to have plans on how to affect those. They're going to cost money. We're going to have more taxes coming into this city when we have condominiums, when we have further people paying taxes because they own them. They're bringing in money. They're bringing people here who are going to look at Marine City. We have houses that are for sale. How do you think people come to Marine City and buy houses? Do you think they suddenly just spring out of the air? No, they visit. How did we get here, my husband and I? For 10 years, we traveled around the country in an RV. We had a nice time. Finally, it came to the point where I wanted to live in a house again, and so did Bill. Not as much as me, but nevertheless, I won. I looked at communities around here. We'd sold a house on Grosse Ile, so we were not poverty-stricken, but we're not those who have lots and lots of money. We had a budget that we had to look at. So we contacted a real estate person who took us around. We started in St. Clair because we had been staying at the campground at Wadhams Road. Well, we looked at a lot of houses. And all the houses that we looked at were acceptable. But there wasn't a single house that was outstanding. There wasn't anything that made me say, geez, I'd like to live there until I die. And then we came to Marine City. We looked at a number of houses, and then we looked at this little house on North Main. And then we looked out the front window at the river. And at that point, we said, we're going to move to Marine City. And since we've been here, we have a dog, probably the most ill-mannered dog in Marine City, but we walk all around Marine City. And you know what's wonderful about Marine City? Is that you are not in a housing development where every damn house looks like the other house. You know it's your house. You don't walk inadvertently into somebody else's house. It's yours. Each street is different. The people here in general are very friendly. If we stop looking at what is, in my mind, a division that doesn't have to be there, and start problem solving, maybe we can all agree and enjoy and look at things. And please, don't criticize things that you have never seen. If you have never been to the theater, you have no way to criticize it because you know what it's like. If you've never been to any of the restaurants, you can't criticize them. You have to be a part of the community, and you can volunteer, and everybody in this community can do something. If you can walk, walk, and pick things up when you see them on the sidewalk. If your neighbor needs something, help them. Start acting like a community and follow the direction of people that want that. We don't all have to agree on everything, but I think we all can agree on the fact that we want a better society that all of us can enjoy. Thank you.
Sir? No, it's Mr. Mykoff.
Yeah, I wasn't going to get up, but I had to. Dan Wyckoff, 237 North 2nd Street, Marine City, Michigan, 48039. People that complain about whether it be the hotel, the theaters, the Mariner, whatever they're complaining, they don't understand the economics that goes into place to build a community. You have to have a vibrant downtown to draw people in, to buy up these rental houses to where people, once they have home ownership, they take some pride in it, they fix up their houses, then the neighbors fix up their houses, and it builds a community. It raises the tax base. The hotel alone, I can't imagine what kind of water bill they're gonna have. Everybody's complained about the water bill, and they don't realize the Burtons are going to have a large water bill. And I say all of this, and that's not why I came up here. I came up here because I wanted to apologize to the people of Marine City for the few negative people that come up here. It's not what the town's all about. We got a lot of good things going on, and I don't want this town to be represented by the handful, the minority of people that just want to complain about anything they can complain about. And as far as parking goes, if that truck with the big wooden sign on the back of it wasn't downtown, there'd be one more spot. for everybody to park. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to come to the podium?
Gary Coes with the Mariner, 430 Water Street. Before I start, let me just say that I support the Burtons 100%. I know what it is to be a self-made person and work your butt off all your life to be successful. And then when you try to give back and do something for someone, you get this vocal minority, which the ignorance displayed here earlier just blows me away. I can't believe people are that ignorant. They don't know what they're talking about. Having said that, the Mariner opened on August 1st, 2015. We asked nothing from this city. We took nothing from this city. No tax money, no startup money, nothing, nada, zippo. We knew we'd be successful before we started, and we anticipated the thousands of people we'd be bringing to Marine City. Thus, we were concerned about parking. We reached out to Holy Cross Church, cut a deal with them, put them on our insurance policy, and created a hold harmless so the groups we bring to the city park there. If I've got a complaint, it's a big white truck with I would say a ghetto sign in the back with misspelled words parking in front of my theater, which is a joke. It doesn't bother me because we get a lot more attendance that way, people coming in feeling sorry for us. The Mariner doesn't have to make money, but it is making money. And all profits from Titanic exhibit go back to nonprofit charitable organizations. Since August 1st of last year, we've had visitors from all 50 states, every province of Canada, and 9 countries. So let me ask you one simple question. Do I look like someone who needs friends? No. But having said that, we've made many great friends in this town. And the friends we value are the people that have lived here all their life and made this town what it is. They stop by the theater and they thank us for our efforts, and we appreciate that thanks. We love this town, and we love these kinds of people. This town is very special to us, and we're not going anywhere. We're here to stay, so get used to it. Aside from everything else we've done for this town, last fall I devised a new concept of creating funding. You're complaining about sidewalks and this and that. Well, if you passed PA 33, you might have some money for this, but you didn't. So we said, let's find a way to create the money. Private initiative, working with the city to accomplish an objective. It was the tree program, was the first program. And more than 6 months later, we're still in chaos over that tree program. And why? Because of half-truths, because of outright lies and dissension created by a vocal minority. Bottom line is, we're approaching a resolution on that. And it's my bet the resolution is going to be exactly the way it was presented 6 months ago, or 7 months ago, whatever it is. There's a small element of negative people in this town who are completely irrelevant, and they want to be relevant. They park their truck with a cardboard sign with misspelled words downtown and think someone cares. They go on Facebook and say stupid things, and they think someone cares. They are trolls. And I don't mean little stupid people that you think of when you think of a troll, because I actually think one of them has some brains. They are cyber trolls. They think they're relevant because they have 5 people listening to them on Facebook who can't think for themselves. They're an embarrassment to themselves, they're an embarrassment to their families, and most of all, they're an embarrassment to this community. I'm here to say that they can say what they want about the Mariner. Doesn't bother me. I could care less what they say about the Mariner. That's not important. It's just a theater. But when you attack me personally, then I will go to the moon to shut you down. And I'm here tonight to respond to Mr. William Haas, and Mr. Mike Hilkerfink, or however you pronounce his name, and I don't even think he's here tonight. Can't imagine why. Your crap stops tonight. Both of you parade up to the commission to present them with documents regarding me and my former deceased wife. I'm here for her as well because she can't be here. It was a play to the camera because what you presented was meaningless. I'm disappointed that none of you commissioners, after seeing what they presented you, didn't tell them that this isn't the forum for personal attacks and tell them to stick their papers. So I'm here to tell you, tonight, it stops now. If you want to apologize, Mr. Haas, Mr. Hilkerfink, if you're here or not here, I'll be outside after the meeting tonight to accept your apology. If you want to tell me what your problem is with me, then I'll be there for you also. And we'll settle it tonight, once and for all, one way or the other. But it will be settled tonight. You will never attack my name again. We'll see what you're made out of. The beach fundraiser is over $30,000 as of this evening, and I'm not happy. We should be here tonight to tell you it's over $50,000. But I've told two companies that I lined up for matching funds to keep their $20,000 until we clean up this mess in this town with these two cyber trolls. No reason for them to be embarrassed by Mr. Haas and Mr. Hilkerfink. Mr. Haas and Mr. Hilkerfink want to be relevant and be seen as something other than what they really are. They have cost this community $20,000 tonight. And now they have their chance to do something other than what they are. Come back to the next commission meeting with the $20,000 you cost the city tonight. You've done nothing for this city. Nothing since you've lived here. Absolutely nothing.
Mr. Coates.
So rather than be an obstructionist, now's your chance to show the community just how important you really are. Everyone is watching you now. As they say, man up or shut up. Bring the $20,000 to the next commission meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to come to the podium?
I reside at 545 North Main Street, Marine City. I've been a resident here for about a year and a half. And you know, they say ignorance is bliss.
Name?
Oh, Malcolm Holcomb. You know, they say ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is really ignorance. When somebody told me about the term rich river boy about a couple of weeks ago, I could not believe it. I live on the river. I have a lot of neighbors who live on the river. I'm not a rich river boy. I don't even know what that means. The sign that we see in the downtown about the haves and have-nots. You know, I know what that's like. I was raised in it. Anybody can get to know. The dearly departed get to know faster than anybody. The ignorant get to know almost as quickly. They always find a way to get to know. The goal here ought to be to get to yes for the community. Tax abatement will not cost this city 1 penny without the investment. If nobody invests, the city doesn't lose a dime in a tax abatement. Not a dime. So stealing is the wrong word. And it just exposes ignorance. And people that want to whine and make excuses because they're members of the have-nots, I know what you're like. I have plenty of cousins that fit that description. You have a lot of excuses for why you're in the position you're in. And I know that, a lot of excuses. However, anybody in this country can improve themselves if they have the motivation to do so. So quit your whining, as my mother used to say, and do something about it. But quit your lying, because tax abatements are not stealing money and doesn't cost the city one single penny. And to the individual that talks about rich river boys, I would like for him to list some names, because I'm not familiar nor acquainted with any of them, and I work for a living. I've worked for a living since I was 13 years old. So get off your ass and do something about it if you feel like you're a have-not.
Do we have anyone else? Anyone want to follow that up? All right. Seeing none, we're going to move on to the approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda with,
Yeah.
sorry?
Yeah, you already had your,
No, this is another topic.
yeah, but you can only come to the podium once. That's about the,
The mayoral date.
why don't we just put that on the agenda for the next meeting?
Okay.
Actually, put it on the agenda, because that's not until September, right?
Yeah, well, you started it, but that's okay.
Okay, we'll do that. That way you can have as much time as you want.
Okay.
Okay, I would like to approve the agenda with moving item E, that would be 11E, you're on the consent agenda. Oh, no, yeah, okay. Item 11E to, of the beginning, make that 11A and move everything else up one, so that the young man,
Should
the
like
teacher,
to bring the River East Art Project
yes,
to the front of the line, so they don't have to sit here through the whole meeting.
yes, said that very well, thank you, Mayor.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Moving on to item 7A, which is City Commission regular meeting minutes from May 5th.
I move to approve the City Commission regular meeting minutes from May 5th, 2016, as presented.
Support. Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They've been approved. Moving on to the consent agenda, we have item 8A, which is pension board minutes from January 26. Item 8B, which is pension retiree minutes, January 26. We got item 8C, which is planning commission minutes from April 11. We got item 8D, which is special event for farmers market. We got item 8E, which is special event fall flea market. We have item 8F, which is departmental activity reports. And we have item 8G, which is Marine City Fire Authority run report.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
We have motion support. Any discussion on the consent agenda items? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda's been approved. We're, I'm gonna get my cheat sheet. We're now about to enter into a public hearing. The public hearing is going to be about the proposed 2016-2017 budget. People are invited to come to the podium and address the board after I actually go into the public hearing. And just for the sake of keeping the meeting under 4 hours, I'm only going to allow a person to talk one time at the podium. You can take as much time as you want, but you're only going to get one chance at the podium. So with that being said, at 7:44, we are now in public hearing for the 2000.
We have to have a motion.
Oh, yeah, we have to have.
Make a motion to enter into public hearing.
Support. A motion support. Roll call, please.
Mayor Scarlett.
Here. Yes.
Commissioner Avery.
Yes.
Commissioner Hendrick.
Yes.
Commissioner Lovett.
Yes.
Commissioner Melly.
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson.
Yes.
Commissioner Turner.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, so public hearing is started, and the comments are supposed to be about the budget, the 2017 budget. Rosalie?
Did you give it time?
Yeah, 7:44.
Rosalie Squires, 211 Michigan. I sat through 2 days of several hours each evening of the budget hearing, and despite the fact that we defeated the tax that was put on us, we were had a $17 shortfall, and you know, really, I didn't see anybody really struggling to find that $1,700. So I don't know why we needed that extra money, because I didn't really see that much of a struggle, that much of a struggle to find the shortfall for the $17,000. I also think if we got rid of the PTIFAs, we'd be a lot better off. I just really feel that we're taking general fund money and putting into special projects. Yes, it's paying for administration costs, but you'd have the general fund money in the general fund to pay those costs. And I think if you were to really weigh how much really extra money we're getting in, it just doesn't outweigh the money we're taken from the general fund. And I think that's a real problem in our town. And that's why the TIFA 250, 180 was only designed for, was put into effect, and it created so many problems in the state of Michigan that it's not, you can't even make those TIFAs anymore. You couldn't make those since 1990. They got rid of them, and yet we still have them, and I can't see that they can possibly be blessing us if the state found that they were devastating communities and outlawed them. We're just stuck in this pattern because we've already got them, but I think we really need to dissolve TIFA 2 and 3. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we're going to close the public hearing at, what time is it? 7:47.
Make a motion to close public hearing at 10:47 and enter into regular meeting.
Motion to support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, back to the regular meeting. So we have no unfinished business, and we have item 11E, which is the River East Art Project for Safe Routes to School.
Good evening. My name is Jason Steyer. I'm the visual arts teacher at Riverview East High School. And with me tonight, I have one of my many phenomenal students, Jonathan Gottler. For those of you who don't know much about Riverview East, we are East China School District's alternative education program, and we create an alternative opportunity for students to stay in school, be successful, earn their diplomas, and ultimately be positive citizens for our community. One of our priorities at Riverview is to make connections with our community and create opportunities alongside our students to make a positive impact on the places in which we live. In the past, we've done projects as simple as hand-painting street banners for the streets around town. We created over a dozen free little library boxes around our surrounding communities that provide free literature for people who otherwise may not have access, as well as resources for literacy. In progress is the development of a teen rec center, which is spearheaded by another group of students. And many of you are aware that Diane Lovett came to our school last year and asked for help with the Safe Routes to School program. Since then, we've gone out and helped evaluate the routes to and from school. We looked for areas that were in need of safety concerns, crosswalks, missing sidewalks and such. In doing so, we noticed a lot of areas of blight, both on our school campus and in the surrounding community. We then, with the help of our students, pursued grant money so that we could address those issues. We've since raised over $3,000 with support from the St. Clair Women's League, the supporters of East China School District, and some other contributions as well. Our students are currently executing their designs on school campus, addressing the areas of blight along the safe routes, adding artistic touches, and really creating a nice, vibrant community, leading students to and from school. We do have other projects in mind that we'd like city approval for that would go beyond the school campus and onto public property. So John is here tonight to share one of his concepts and hopefully get approval from the council to move forward.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Gottler, and like Jason Steyer said, I am in the visual arts class, and I have a project that I've been working on for the Safe Routes to School. The overall gist of it is making stencils for spray paint to go on the public sidewalks and spray paint educational, like visual pictures to help inspire students to maybe want to pick up something, give them ideas of where they can, what else they can do to get educations, such as the Air Force, tuitions, grants, all that. And I have with me actually a few of my projects I've actually done, and I'm actually going to be making more, and I'd like to show you a few so that you can get an idea of what I'm making. I have a man working at a computer for computers because you can go on online schooling, it helps with school, you can get easy access to resources, money, other aspects.
Could you just hold that one up so everybody can see, and there you go.
This one I have here represents math. A simple math problem, but some students are good at math and some are not. Some might look at it and want to take extra math classes, maybe get help outside of school, because there are many programs out there that not many students are really aware of. This is science, and as the United States comes more and more technical with their advances, science is actually a growing economic work value. Science, forensics, etc. And this is a microscope. This is the U.S. Navy symbol. Because any branch of the United States government, they offer free college because they want the soldiers, people who are working for the United States government to be educated, because they could use more people in different places like the field, computers, working with submarines, helping with multiple other things. I did a heart with a pulse going through the middle, like a pulse rate, because medical field, high technical advances are being increased in the medical field, and jobs who require people to fix the machines, to help operate in the operating rooms. Well, it just makes people aware that there are actually extracurricular classes, tech center, all those extracurricular after-school activities. And that's it. Thank you.
Nice job. So, where would you like to do the stenciling?
Well, I kind of want to start small and work my way out. Start, school-wise, and I am aware that the city wants to tear up the sidewalks and put new ones in. So I'm more than willing to actually come back out and redo it. Start there, and if I can, get out in the community and try to do other places near schools, Catholic schools, high schools, anywhere I could honestly find that people would feel inspired to go learn.
Anybody have any questions?
I think it's a great idea. Fully support it.
Yeah, well, yeah, legal graffiti, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Because, we had a real issue with that a few years ago.
Still do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned at your campus, you've got stuff already done?
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, next Wednesday,
What I'd ask, is there any chance you can email us some pictures?
I'd love to have you come out and see it firsthand, actually.
Email it, we can put them on our website.
Yeah, I will definitely email. Next Wednesday on the 25th, we have a student exhibition.
Okay.
It's from 12:30 in the afternoon until 2 o'clock. We'd love to see the entire community there to see what Riverview's all about. One part of the exhibition is we're going to take people on a walking tour of the Safe Routes and check out some of the artwork that we've done on campus, get a feel for what the project's all about. We also have an opportunity for our citizens to come out and register to vote that day. So you can come out, register to vote. We're trying to get as many people out to vote as possible. We'll also be talking about a super school grant that we've applied for, which is a $50 million nationwide competition to rethink high school and really create the best optimal learning environment for our students so that we can grow good citizens. So I'll leave these invitations with you if you'd like to share. We'd love to see you there on the 25th. So, any other questions?
Are you ever going to have one later because some of us have to work?
We hope to. Transportation's a big deal for our students since they come from schools throughout the district, so it's hard to host events after school.
Let us know where we can see it.
Absolutely. One of the student groups is creating a walking map of the safe routes, and we'll provide that to everyone in the community.
Commissioner Levitt, you had something?
I just want to say it's just been a joy working with Riverview East High School. They really, as I said before, were the impetus between getting safe routes to school going. We've been told that, and Commissioner Simpson has been working with us on that too, that we been told that we do have the grant. We're just waiting on a few problems with the crossing yet that they're working out with MDOT, but that we will be getting the grant, so even more and greater things can be done in the future. But these students, and along with the teen center, have just been absolutely awesome. Teachers and students both to work with. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Avery?
I suggest that the students give direction to the city, a map or something, so that where the spots are going to be painted on the sidewalks, it should be looked at by DPW or somebody there rather than just going out and painting.
Anyone else?
Well, it's to make it different than somebody else just painting on sidewalks.
Sure. Currently, we don't want to just go out into the community. We're focusing on the areas immediately near the school, perhaps along Ward Street, right across from the school campus, small section to begin with.
What I'm trying to indicate is we want to show that we approve of this as opposed, and make it distinct from just graffiti.
Sure, absolutely.
That's a good point. I mean, somebody that, not that we have any negative people in this town, but if we did, might decide to play this the other way and go paint their sidewalk or something. Well, you let the kids, you gotta let me. Now, it's kind of like putting stuff on a sign in the back of a truck. They could do it.
Yeah, so does somebody want to, you did come here to look for permission, correct?
Right, perhaps permission for a small stretch along Ward Street.
So.
And what about the bike path too? I'm sorry.
Well.
Yeah, that's the area.
All right, does somebody want to make a motion?
I make a motion that Riverview East High School be allowed to put signage, encouraging signage along Ward Streets and around the school area and bike path.
Support.
Does that cover enough?
Yes, it's good to start.
Yep. So we have motion and support. Any other discussion? Commissioner Simpson?
Ms. Edward, have you guys been in touch at all with the folks around Holy Cross and that? You'd indicated at some point you'd like to adventure that way. I would just encourage you as the project progresses. You had a wonderful plan. I applaud you for having everything set up. It is not an easy thing. There are very few people that come up here, especially of your age group, so it is a wonderful thing that you came up here. They say public speaking is the worst fear. If you hang it on a chart, people would rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy at a funeral. So it ranks higher than the fear of death. It's a true thing if you look it up. So you did an awesome job, and I appreciate that you very much came prepared with something. But as the project furthers, I'd encourage you to get in touch with the other schools in town, just to maybe approach them about things that involve the sidewalks and whatnot around their schools, just to get their input. So we'll make sure we're inclusive as possible. So far, I'm not saying you guys haven't been. You've been absolutely wonderful. And you guys have been great to work with, and it's great that you guys are being so involved in the community with the banners. I know there's a walking program that someone else has been working on for over a year now, and you guys do great work there. Project-based learning should be what everyone models. It's a great thing.
Commissioner Levitt.
Just very shortly, good luck with getting that $50 million grant, because that's awesome. I think all education should be run the way Riverview East is. That project-based learning is awesome.
Thank you so much.
How long would that paint last on the sidewalk?
Well, as far as any kind of paint goes, it does last quite a while, but the weather does do some wear on it. If there does come a problem, present it, and I mean, there's always something you can do about it.
I just didn't know if you put epoxy on it or a sealer on it to preserve it more. Just paint primer. Okay, thank you.
You guys are saving the stencils in case it needs to be touched up in the future or something? So that's a, yeah.
Thanks.
Anybody else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do you have our permission? Let's keep it neat, and we really appreciate your community spirit and the fact that you want to help other kids. It's a great thing to do. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 11A, which is the 2016-2017 fiscal budget. And I'd like to start off this conversation, if I may, because I haven't been sleeping too good since we walked out of the last budget meeting. It wasn't very hard. We only had like a $17,000 deficit because everything was already cut out of the budget when it came to us. This budget, if you look at the cover letter, our city manager says unsustainable. That's because we're not doing anything with this budget other than basically paying bills, very little capital improvements, minimal maintenance. We didn't bring the police shift back. That's been gone now for 2 years. So that's why it wasn't too hard to balance, because it's a very lean budget. The other reality of our situation is that if you look at our revenues, they're flat, and they're going to stay flat. And if they do grow, they're going to grow at the rate of inflation. And if you know anything about that, that means they're really not growing. We're just going to be standing still. So this is what I suggest, and I know it's not going to be very popular, but we need more of a spread. We need to start putting some money in these capital improvement plans. We do have some low-hanging fruit that we choose to ignore. We kick the can again. What I'm suggesting is that we eliminate the rec department and cancel our contract with Channel 6. That'll free up almost $50,000 a year that we can put into our capital improvement fund. That's where I would suggest the money get diverted. And I'm going to make a motion to do that, and somebody can choose to support it or not. But that is my motion.
I will support that.
So we have motion and support to modify the budget by canceling our contract with Channel 6 and eliminating the rec department. Any discussion on that? Commissioner Henry?
I'm not in agreement with canceling the Channel 6. I mean, we'll lose all our meetings on the television. I've talked to Mr. Dingman, and I think if that was the case, he should have been allowed to be here to discuss that. I mean, that's only fair. He does a good service to the community. We've cut his budget in half already. But I don't think cutting it out would do the community anymore, because now we won't have the television, we won't have the football games, we won't have all the special programming.
The community told us that they don't want us to spend any money that isn't necessary. They've told us that loud and clear. We've been told over and over.
They didn't want you to tax them, but they're not, that doesn't mean they want it cut out.
We have an unsustainable budget.
It's not unsustainable. I'm sorry, I don't agree.
Okay.
Commissioner Miller.
I strongly oppose. If you take out Channel 6, that is very negative. That does bring support to our town, where people look on the TV and they see different functions that go into our town. And one of the things that you're alluding to is that with the PA 33, you also have to figure in that the people didn't want that extra shift for the police department. That was part of the big part of the budget in PA 33. And people did vote on it, and the majority of the people said no to that. But to cut the Channel 6, that is very negative, and you will hurt our town severely.
Let me just point out something. We have 24 possible meetings a year, 2 of which are canceled, so that's 22 meetings. Of this last year, we had 2 meetings where one was accidentally erased and one was just, I don't know what they did, never aired. So that means we got 20 meetings televised this past year, and it cost us $30,000.
It's not just the meetings though that he does.
But that's what we're paying for. We're paying $30,000, and what we got was 20 meetings. Commissioner Simpson.
I'm just not in favor of either of the cuts. For years, I agree with you in spirit, the fact that this kicks the can down the road. I brought it up 3 times in the budget workshops. I feel it's a bit disingenuous to bring it up now. We always chastise people that say, that don't show up to these budget workshops, and then they come at the last minute to have us do that. You know, it's low-hanging fruit, but I feel like if we're doing our jobs right, we need to have a much better discussion on it than tonight. You know, I realize it's a tough budget position to put us in. It is not sustainable, but I'm not in agreement with cutting those. I think we can look to alter some of those, you know, maybe down the road. I don't think just to pick the 2 lowest hanging fruits is a responsible thing to do. You know, CTV, I feel you're not quantifying that correctly. Yeah, it is the meetings. If you look at nuts and bolts, they also do parades, but it's sort of an enterprise. If you really understand what Mr. Dingaman came to tell us about, you know, that enterprise really consists of the school districts and the surrounding communities. You know, we get a lot of community promotion about all our civic groups, a lot of our businesses going on the Focus program and other such things. So there's much more than just, you know, how many hours of meetings are archived there and you know, played live on television. It's also something that our citizens who pay a Comcast bill pay into. You know, they are charged for those excise tax monies, or the franchise fees, I'm sorry, that ultimately pay for this. So I think, you know, that in an indirect way is cheating them out of something that they're already paying for as well. But in just the spirit of just, you know, nicking 2 low-hanging fruits without an in-depth conversation after we've run through, I wouldn't be in support of that. I would be in support of looking at other things and juggling the whole budget. I think it's just disingenuous to say at kind of the last minute that, you know, I don't disagree that something needs to be done. I've been saying it myself, but I don't think that's the way to do it.
I take great exception to your terminology here. I'm not being disingenuous, and I do understand.
To the process.
I do understand what Mr. Dingaman said. They're putting up a lot of PSAs for churches. They're doing some football games. How many football games do they?
Football games are paid for by the school district, so that's irrelevant to the conversation.
No, not really.
Yeah,
It's already come up in our discussions. Our 30,000 supports those football games.
It does not. I would encourage you to contact him.
But you have all the other groups, all the, like the old Newsboys, and you got a lot of the charity groups that all are getting publicity there to help them.
Ways to get that stuff on the public.
Not a lot. At the music festival, that was when we put out a survey about how people found out about the festival. Other than the signs, would cost us over $6,000, and the newspaper articles, which, you know, didn't cost us anything. I'm trying to answer the question though. That was one of the top 3 ways that people heard about us is through the Focus program and on CTV. So it does, you know, yield in, you know, return on investment of civic groups at least.
Well, you know, I made the suggestion, you can choose to vote it down, that's fine, but I don't know where else you're gonna cut, and I don't know where else we're gonna make a cushion between our revenues and what we should be spending. I don't know if you understood looking at that chart of what our capital improvement looks like going down the road, and we have no way to
I
fund
understand
it.
exactly what it is, because I brought it up 5 different times. I brought it up last year, I brought it up when I was in the crowd before I was on the commission, when I was one of only 2 people in the crowd following along on those meetings, so I know exactly how to follow that chart.
So how are we gonna fund that with 0 gain in revenue?
I think it deserves a longer conversation than the final meeting ahead of time. I think, because I also think we should be offering CTV perhaps an opportunity to counteroffer or readjust. I think we should be looking into, a different way to structure a rec program as opposed to cutting it off the bat if that's what we're looking to do. This doesn't give those folks that opportunity to do that, and that's why I'm against the way we're going about it. Again, I don't disagree with you about the need to cut. It's the way.
Well, we didn't
it's
do our
proposed.
job at the budget meeting, that's what I'm here to say, and we needed to not just come up with a zero budget. We have to start looking down the road at the future, and low-hanging fruit is exactly where you go first. That's why it's low-hanging fruit. Commissioner Mellon?
One other thing, not everybody can make it to a meeting. And a lot of times people like to see, and that's one thing when I was on Tifa, it wasn't broadcast. And it was at 4 o'clock hour. People do watch it on TV. And also, you can go on your computer and you also can get it on, if you don't have Comcast, you also can see it on your computer. I strongly oppose, that would be very negative, especially the rec and the telecast. That is a vital tool for advertising to our community. And it's also making us a friendly community as well when they see it on TV.
Anyone else? Commissioner Levitt?
I agree with the philosophy behind Commissioner Simpson's remarks, and that we're just kind of thrown this idea out without really analyzing or giving Channel 6 an opportunity to arrange, their budget differently. I know there are some changes already in the rec department. Perhaps we can make more changes without literally, I don't know. I would like to have had a little more time to know that we were going into discussing some of these things before we got here tonight. Perhaps even knowing where we're at, they didn't like PA 33, but perhaps many communities have a 1% or a 1 mil tax just to fix roads, or perhaps there are other ways that this community would be open to understanding that we have to have more income. And I would like to see this kind of a discussion tabled for another time. I know we've got a balanced budget. That can always be changed down the road. I mean, that's my opinion.
Are you making a motion?
Pardon?
Are you making a motion there?
There's already a motion on the
There's already a
floor.
motion on.
Oh, I thought you said the
Yeah, I
table.
make a motion that we table this discussion
You can't.
for another meeting.
Sure.
You can table it.
Table goes over the top of that. I'll support your table. Because I don't think it was fair to bring this up at the last minute and not give those people the opportunity to talk. And there's other things we could be looking at. This stuff is small potatoes. I had a list here that the old city manager gave me on those TIFAs. And this is 2011. This is all the millage. He gave me all the info on if we were to get rid of those back in 2011. And I brought this up year after year. Back then, we had a total of $1.8 million in those 3 TIFAs. If we would have had to pay back, which he calculated it all here for me, we would have only had to pay back $226,000. We would have kept $1.6 million in our general fund. So I'm still going to suggest, if
I
you
don't
want to go
believe
after
any of those
anything,
numbers.
it's right here. These are his charts.
That's right.
No,
You want to go after it, why don't you go after TIFA 2 and 3?
That's right.
Because that's about the dumbest thing you could
It's not
possibly
the
do.
dumbest thing. It still goes in the general
About the
fund, you can
dumbest
still
thing.
use it. And it's a small amount.
Those numbers aren't accurate.
These are accurate.
They're
These are
not
right from
accurate.
It's right out of the
No, it's about
city's
what we'd
computer.
have to pay back.
Yes, it's right out of here.
No. We were funded
Hate
over
to tell you, this is a
60%.
city report right out of the city system.
It doesn't say what we would have to pay
It does
back.
tell you.
It does not
It
say.
does tell you, it gives you a breakdown of each one. You're not even looking at it. I asked for this years ago.
It's
a
years ago.
report.
You're talking about years
But
ago.
you can still get this report and it'll tell you because it's all
You're
broken
gonna have
down.
to pay back 60% of what's in
You
there.
guys don't
You're
want
gonna
to,
have
I want
give
to
that
go on
money
to
back.
other things here, wait too.
You're wrong on that.
Because at the end of this
Wait,
year.
we have 2
Wait,
motions on the
huh?
floor.
We're still discussing though. We, in those TIFAs now, by the end of this year, TIFA 1 will be almost broke. It'll only have $3,200 in it. TIFA 2 at the end of this budget, we'll only have 188,000 in Tifa 3, 469. Where did all that money go? And what did we get out? What did the Tifa 2 people and Tifa 3 people get out of it for their portion of the community? Nothing. And talk about that we haven't bought anything. So I made a list. I went back through the list of all the stuff we've been buying, which means we haven't ignored things. We bought a hydraulic jackhammer, Christmas decorations, playground equipment, a John Deere tractor with an auger. We painted the lighthouse, repaired the museum porch, purchased a 2.5-yard dump truck. Then we did the block at the Guy Center. I don't know if that's done yet, or the museum, but it was in the budget. We had more money in for 300 Broadway exterior, new computers for the PD. We got a fingerprint equipment through a grant. The DPW roof was going to be fixed, a mower for the DPW, 3/4 ton plow truck for the DPW, another new dump truck for the DPW, LED lights for the park. We even bought a Gator that wasn't even in the budget last year. This year, we're still going to replace the AC at the library, 2 voting tabulators, city file office servers, PD radios and modems for the police cars, printer for the building, and a boom truck, master plan. So it's not like we're not doing anything here. It's all here. Yes, we got issues, but I put out stuff year after year. I've made suggestions on cutting costs and how to do it, and I just get ignored, but I'm told I'm the negative one for not voting for it. I've been involved in this for years. There's things you can do. I found now we might be able to get USDA grants, which I turned over to the city manager. The DNR also said they were willing to help us on ADA grants for the beach. They would supply for any of the ADA compliance there. There's things we can do, but you had the opportunity. We had a couple nights of meetings. Why wasn't it brought up then?
That should be.
Well, it's kind of late now.
This is the budget public hearing.
No, we did the public hearing. This is after the
No, those were the
hearing.
workshops. Well, yeah, now we're actually doing the budget. Now we're
Yeah.
voting on it. You can make a change if you want to. I'm not hearing that anybody really is in favor of it. So, let's vote on the tabling of it. I just put it out there because, to get rid of Tifa, which seems to be a popular theme, is really, we're not taking anybody from the crowd. You're going to kill any opportunity to invest in this community, and you have to pay back all the tax money that was taken from other tax jurisdictions. That's just throwing money away. It's just totally.
Not much money, I'm telling you.
When I was on Tifa, it was over 60% was coming from other tax jurisdictions.
That's
You
not
can
what
hold
it
that
is.
up all you want, it's not accurate.
It's not 60%.
No, I'm not wrong, because nobody actually knows what.
And I remember Mr. Gaber spelled it out back in '09, exactly how much it was gonna cost if we canceled.
These are every sheet that John gave me
Then
back
why didn't
then.
they get canceled if it was such a great idea?
Because we didn't do it.
Because
back
you
then.
don't.
You don't, what's gonna happen is the money has to go to the state. The state's gonna decide what gets paid back to where. Nobody knows what that dollar amount is.
Yes, you do.
Gaber had it pretty well down
Gaber
pat, how
wanted to
much
get,
it was gonna cost
Gaber
us.
never knew what it was.
Yeah, he
And he
did.
made stuff up.
This is a report out of the city's BS&A system. How can that be made up?
That report doesn't say what we're gonna have to pay back to other jurisdictions.
It breaks it down.
Of what come from where on that particular year.
It tells you.
But they've been taking money since 1986.
That's not how it works. If you don't use the money at the end of the year, technically, we're supposed to give it back to where it belongs anyway, and we've never
well,
done
that's
that,
just
which is a
crazy.
violation of the law.
Algonac
Read
looked
the
at
law.
getting rid of their
They
DDA,
got rid of
and when they
theirs.
saw how much it was gonna cost, they didn't do it.
Well, they don't even have theirs anymore.
That's just, we got one motion that I made that was supported by Commissioner Avery, and then we had a motion to table this discussion. So let's vote on the motion to table, because I am getting no support here. I can see that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So now we got to move on to approval of the budget. Somebody want to make a motion to do
Is this
that?
not a public hearing?
No, this is not a public hearing.
Make a motion to approve the 2016, is that what you want? A, we're working on?
Yep.
Yes.
The 2016-17 fiscal year budget.
Support it.
The motion support. We have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Avery,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Lovett?
Yes.
Commissioner Melly?
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson?
Yes.
Commissioner Turner?
Yes.
Mayor Scarjett?
No.
Motion carries.
Moving on to item 11B, fee schedule update. Did you want to go over this?
I can go over it if you like. This is the same fee
Make a motion to
schedule.
approve the fee schedule updates.
We have support. The motion support.
So this is the same fee schedule that was presented during the budget workshops. There's been several changes and also some new fees that are included. Primarily a business license fee for all businesses that is going to be $50 a year. There's some minor increases in other fees throughout the fee schedule. All of these have been taken into consideration as part of the revenue portion of the budget. I'll answer any questions if you have any questions about it.
Any questions on the fee schedule? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's been passed. Moving on to item 11C, which is Anchor at Lighthouse Park.
A year ago, February, I received a call from a Mrs. Tracy Brenner in St. Clair, and she was referred to me by someone in the community who thought I could help her with the problem she had. She claimed that her father was Robert Raybender, was captain on the Great Lakes. Two grandfathers are captains on the Great Lakes. And her dad was the first captain of the Stuart J. Court, the first 1,000-footer on the Great Lakes. On the maiden voyage of the court from Duluth to Gary, Indiana, it anchored off waiting for its chance to unload, and when they pulled up their starboard anchor, they had hooked another anchor, 10,000-pound bolt anchor. He called his friend in Marysville, had a flatbed truck, came in over, picked it up, and brought it back to St. Clair and put it in the front yard across from St. Clair Inn. Probably everyone remembers that anchor with the two bullards. It sat there for 40 years. The captain died and then was followed subsequently by his wife. They were selling the house and they had to find a new home or send the anchor and the two bullards from 1896 to a scrapyard. So she called me and asked me if I had any ideas. They'd offered them to the mayor of St. Clair, and he turned them down, saying if we accepted this anchor from you, we'd have to accept other things from other people. Then offered it to the Historical Society, and they declined it because they said, well, we'd have to move it. And then I looked at it, realizing what it was, and I said, well, I'll pay you for it, and I'll find a home for it. And then we'll credit your father and your two grandfathers as captains, and we'll tell the story of this anchor. Little did I know how important the anchor was. To make a long story short, it had to be moved. And so I called everybody I could find in St. Clair. No one would move it for me. So I called Dave's Towing in Marine City. And that was my first positive feeling about Marine City. Because old Dave said, well, I don't know if I can lift it, but I guess I won't know until I try. And so old Dave came up to St. Clair and he hooked onto that anchor and the front wheels of his truck came off the ground. And he said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I can fix this. And so he moved his boom around and the wheels barely touched enough to steer. And he removed it from the yard. Last year we were the lead sponsor of the Maritime Days. So we brought down the Gray Fox. And we talked the city into letting us moor it on the riverfront to show people what a ship on the riverfront might look like if we ever had a harbor, because we have this vision of a harbor there. Well, we had a big tree to tie off the bow with, and that tree wasn't going to get knocked down, but we didn't have anything for the stern. So I called a friend of mine in St. Clair who had an excavator and all that, and I said, hey, can you bring that anchor down here? He says, sure, and he comes down, and we worked with Mike and DPW, and we got the anchor where it rests today. That was our stern post for the Gray Fox, and it worked out great, never moved. Well, after the thing was over, we had several people call us and say, would you leave that in the park? Because it's a great photo op. And then we started hearing from City Hall people saying, God, you wouldn't believe the number of people that sit on that anchor to get the picture taken. So I approached Mike and DPW. I said, here's the deal. If the city's agreeable and amenable, we'll tell the story with a placard. We'll cover the cost of the cement foundation, and we'll make that part of Lighthouse Park. The key here is that it's a 10,000-pound Bolt anchor made in Chester, Pennsylvania. Bolt anchors made every anchor for the U.S. Navy since the turn of the century through World War II. So it's a very historic anchor and unlike any other anchor in the area. So I'm here to say, hey, if you want the anchor, it's yours. We'll cover the cost of displaying it properly, and we'll do a placard to commemorate the captains that served on the Great Lakes. And I have to say that Tracy is here tonight in the back of the room, because I told her and I promised her I'd find a home for that anchor. And I think Marine City is about the best place in the world, and then the people from St. Clair can come visit it. If you get my drift. So, if you want it, it's yours, and we'll move forward with Mike, and we'll certainly keep everybody informed as to what we're doing and how we're doing it. That's it.
I make a motion that we accept this generous offer.
Support. Got
Motion
everybody
support.
supporting there.
Any questions, comments?
Comment, I'd like to thank you for donating this and working on our city positively.
Absolutely. And you can thank Tracy, because that's cool. I just think that's really neat.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Coase. Thank you, Tracy. You can come visit your anchor anytime. Moving on to item 11D, Historical Commission Board Member Absence.
I make a motion that we accept the concept that, well,
We have to declare this, the seat vacant.
yeah, is that what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion to declare that seat vacant on the Historical Commission. Thank you.
Support.
We have motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, we now have 2 openings on, just one?
Does
So-
anybody, I mean, I didn't get a chance, but does anybody know why this person never showed up, considering that they volunteered for the job? And I mean, is it a health issue or something?
My husband was also a member. They were both appointed at the same time. He filled in someone else's term, so he dropped off. He never appeared either.
It just,
Okay,
Packet after packet, phone calls, and I didn't notify her of the letter.
I guess it wasn't for him. Get on to, I guess, 12A, disbursements including payroll.
Make a motion to approve disbursements, including payroll of $174,390.69.
Support. Motion support. Any discussion on disbursements? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hendrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Lovett?
Yes.
Commissioner Melly?
Yes.
Commissioner Simpson?
Yes.
Commissioner Turner?
Yes.
Mayor Skatarczyk?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
yes.
Motion carries.
To item 1112B, which is preliminary financial statements.
I move to approve the preliminary financial statements as presented.
Support.
With motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Financial statements have been accepted. City manager report.
I just wanted to let everyone know that Community Foundation is processing a $5,000 grant for improvements at the Marine City Beach, and also a $2,000 grant for the farmers market. As Gary Coase had mentioned, the Patronicity site will be going live tomorrow morning. We're gonna get a link up on our website as well. I'm not sure what time tomorrow that will take place, but that will be there, so you can go to either the link on our probably homepage is where we'll put it, or directly to the Patronicity site to make online donations. I understand there were some problems with the website. I worked with our IT representative. There were some people that somehow or another, they were thought to be spam or something going on with the website for access, and they were added to a block list. There is going to be some further language put on the message that people would get if they are blocked, so that they can directly contact our IT support person to remove that block. Certainly do apologize for that, and thanks to the people for letting us know so that we could look into that. And I also wanted to just kind of remind people that when you're getting information from a multitude of sources out there, just to make sure that you know what your source is. For city business, city commission here, these meetings are where the business of the city happens. And if you want to be best informed, this is the place to get the information. That's all I have.
Commissioner Simpson? Sure. I want to start by just offering my condolences to the family of Tom McKenzie. Tom and his family have been around Marin City a good number of years. He served on our planning commission for, I believe, over 20 years, or close to 20 years, and just want to offer my condolences and say my thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. We heard a lot about Tifa over the past several months and for many years now. I wondered if it wouldn't be beneficial for us as a commission at a meeting to maybe have an educational presentation from someone who is some form of an expert about, what does Tifa look like, exactly how that works in layman's terms, so folks can follow along, and what our financial obligations would be under Tifa. I think there's a lot that goes back and forth around, and we've heard every way, shape, and form through budget workshops and everything, and I think that would just be a beneficial educational standpoint for us up here, anyone following along at home or in the crowd. I think a way to fight misinformation is to offer the proper information. I think that would be a responsible thing for us to do, and just remind people that there is a beach donation bucket. Don't forget it on your way up.
Read my mind.
Commissioner Avery.
I can't think of anything constructive right at this moment. Thank you.
Commissioner Avery.
I'd also like to give my condolences to Elaine McKenzie for the passing of Tom. He will be missed. He was on there a long time. It was sad. I'd also like to tell everybody, please have a safe Memorial Day that's coming up pretty soon. And the Marin City Fire Authority is still looking for volunteers. So if you know any young people out there that would like to volunteer for that, they need to contact the fire chief. That's it.
My condolences as well to the McKenzie family in the loss of their husband, father, grandfather. I agree totally with Commissioner Simpson also on being educated on Tifa and the value that a Tifa has, and the collection of monies for Tifa that would not be ours otherwise. And once you lose your Tifa, you don't get it back. So I think some education would be very important there. And I would like to apologize on behalf of the city to the Vertons for some of the misinformation and antagonism that they have received. It's going to be a wonderful influence on the city. We certainly are not losing anything in the process. Instead, we are gaining additional income that will be coming in with that, not only from the additional taxes that will be coming in, but also from the people that will be coming and using that facility and adding more to our downtown. We continue to improve, and I'm very grateful to all of those who have helped to that. And my sincerest apologies to Mr. Coase for not saying something or doing something about the letter that was put on our front of us at the last meeting. You have my apologies. Thank you.
Mr. Turner.
Nothing. Thank you.
Melanie.
I do want to say my condolences to Elaine McKenzie and the family with Tom, and something else that, it's amazing how people right off the bat, you're classified being negative or something, one thing or another. But the gentleman, Mike, on Facebook, he represented the point of view that Goldfinger was to find grant money for City Hall. And the Tifa is paying $5,000 on that. And he also said the fact that you don't live, you know, in all due respect, you don't live in our town, and you have a business in our town, but you got the free use of the grant money. And where I agreed with him saying, in a sense, I want to clarify what I said on Facebook. I said, in a sense, you're right, that the Burtons got the free grant money, which is no problem. That was what the Goldfinger was designed to do, to get grant money to revitalize the city and make improvements. I have no problem with that. But the problem I did have is that whereas you're the only one that has got 12 years tax evading for your hotel, and to slice the fair piece of the pie, that's not fair to anybody else that has an investment into the business. And it's not like you're not going to bring business to the other participants in our community, like the different restaurants. I'm all for that. That's fine. But you got to imagine, way the city makes money is on taxes, and we have taxes that recuperates to make the city vitalize. By giving you 12 years tax abatement, I'm sorry, that is, I don't think St. Clair would have done that. You know,
We didn't build it?
right. But the thing is, you know what, I got the floor now, but you said that like I'm negative, and I'm sorry, I'm not negative. I'm just agreed with them about getting the, getting the grant money, which I don't have a problem with that. I didn't have a problem with that. You guys getting the grant money, having the cleanage of the property and everything, that's great. But all the other businesses didn't have the opportunity to use the grant money to get their business going. And, you know, I mean, you can say what you want, one thing or another. I wish you guys well for your hotel to strive. But you got to understand, when somebody buys different items they'll shop in our town, that money does not go to City Hall. That money does not, I mean, not City Hall, but that money does not go to help paying our bills. It brings, excuse me, it brings people into the city, that's correct.
Right, and then
But-
they see how wonderful it is, then they buy a house, and then they live
This is
here.
Commissioner privilege, he's just going to share his thoughts, and you're supposed to listen. So let's keep it that way.
I'm just, you don't understand, we make money.
Don't talk
Okay,
to the
okay,
audience
okay.
if you don't, this
Okay.
isn't part of the
All
meeting.
right, thank you.
Share your thoughts.
The bottom line is, we make tax money on the different things, and the fair piece of the pie, you got 12 years tax abatement, and that's not fair to any other business owner. That's what I'm bringing out the point. And that's the only reason why I checked yes, that I agree with Mike. He has a different point of view about saying something, but just to say to make him a scoundrel or make him a bad name, you got to watch yourself. You don't.
You want to see your quote?
What?
You want to read your quote? It's right here.
Ray,
Go ahead.
quit talking to the crowd, please. We're going to be here all night if we keep this up. Would you wrap up your comments?
Whatever. But the bottom line is, the thing is, we make our money on taxes, and that's how the city makes money on taxes, and it's a slap in the face. If you ask the taxpayers to pay more money, it's a slap in the face. And, okay, thank you. I'm done.
So, it's my turn to talk. By now, everybody's turned off their TV. So they're not going to hear what I have to say. But for some clarity, the tax abatement will not cost the citizens of the city any money. That is just so wrong, and just shows that there's no understanding of what's actually going on there. We're going to get the taxes that we're already been collecting. There's going to be private condominiums that will not be part of that and will pay taxes. So we'll be getting the taxes that we've always gotten, we'll be getting the taxes from the new condominiums, and all we're saying is that for a period of 12 years, the additional taxes that come from that improvement of that property will go to help pay off some of these very ingenious loans, which allow the hotel to be built in our city. And it's not corporate welfare. These programs were set up just for this particular reason, so that somebody could buy a contaminated site and then turn it into something better and improve our town. And this Facebook and what's going on in Facebook and the things that went on at the last meeting, it is all wrong. I chose to ignore this person, Mr. Helferink. He emails me all the time. He private messaged me. I've been threatened by this individual that if I support Gary Coes, I'm not quite sure I know what that means, that my political career is finished. Well, I work with Mr. Coes because he does a lot of things for this community. He's constantly trying to make improvements to our community, just like the Vertons, and I'll work with the Vertons, and that's why I've been called the Rich River Boy, because I live on the river and I only associate with millionaires. And in that same email, that same Facebook thing, it was also said that every 18 months, I'm not exactly sure why 18 months, I come up with a scheme to tax the community. Every 18 months.
All by himself.
And you chimed in on that as well, and you agreed. So I don't know when the last 18 months happened, but people watch out, because when the next 18 months comes here, I'm going to go after you. So I don't know what else to say. I think this has to stop. I mean, this is bullying, what goes on Facebook. People seem very genuine, they try to be polite, but they have an agenda. And I've also chosen not to participate in these comments, even though I'm being baited constantly by them plugging my name into the comments to bait me to look at what they're saying. I'm not going to join in. I'm not going to become part of their plan. The plan is to trash me and this administration and everything we've done over all these years to make improvements. So I'm not going to help them in that effort. So you can stop seeding your comments with my name. I am not going to jump in. I do not feel like I have to answer your questions. And that's just the way that goes. The trees, we need to come to a conclusion on the trees. It's kind of ridiculous. I was in Lexington over the weekend. Right on their main drag, they have a bunch of brand-new pear trees that they put in. They look very pretty. And you go down the other street, they have fully mature pear trees that they let grow to full height, and they just pruned underneath, and it looks very good. I think we're being silly, over-analyzing this, and hopefully by the next meeting, we can come up with something so we can get our trees planted back in. I'd also like to see us...
Do that, I agree.
Yeah, it's like, how long are we going to drag this out? They're just trees.
I'm doing the
Right?
church here.
So let's get that done. The sidewalk program, we're already, into spring. We're going to be summer pretty soon. Before you know, it's going to be fall. Let's get that going. I don't know what the holdup is with the sidewalk
City
program.
manager has it.
But let's get it going. And this Rich River Boy would like a motion to adjourn.
Give it to him.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.